Batman animated series, The Man Who Killed Batman. This one was a real fun one, to be honest. I had kind of forgotten about this sort of concept that they would have of minimizing Batman's presence, and the story actually is discussed and presented around this completely irrelevant character named Sidney, right? So the rain is pouring down. We have this cinematic look. The newspapers have a headline about Batman's being is dead, and we see this gangster uh, conversation play out over the course of the episode about Sid the Squid, who basically everybody thinks killed Batman. Right? It invokes him explaining the sequence of events. He's turned himself over to try to get some help from Rupert Thorne, right? One of the big gangsters in the city. And it said he ends up finding himself in the crosshairs of Joker, who's found out that Batman's dead and is taking issue with Sidney. Sidney's actually gotten away with doing something the Joker had always wanted to do. And really, to be honest, it takes the fun out of Joker's life. Like, it takes the fun and meaning out of Joker being Joker. And that's kind of the premise of the episode. And it plays out in a very nice way. I really, really enjoyed this. So again, look at the beautiful animation with the rain. Rupert Thorne's fine. Sid is sort of like overly drawn as mousy. Like it's sort of like almost like over the top with how mousy that they went for with Sid. The character, the voice actor, his name is Matt Frewer. I'm actually not really familiar with Matt Frewer. I don't think he did any other episodes or anything like that. It's almost like really fun, interest. Oh, Matt Frewer is freaking Max Headroom. Why did I not know that? Okay, yeah, this Max Headroom. Um, of course I'm familiar with Max Headroom. Again, what a great voice actor! Like, oh my gosh, it's incredible. So, so again, we're just treated to another great character creation and element that we can all sort of enjoy together. Story moves pretty quickly as he sort of flashes back to his roles, basically kind of being the patsy, right? He's on the roof, he's making shadow images while the actual gangsters are doing the thing, and then Batman swoops in. Now Batman swoops in, and he almost falls over the side of the building, and in doing so, Batman actually ends up on the ledge, and he goes over the side, and everybody thinks that Batman didn't make it out. He died when the stuff hit the gas. And Rupert's like, "What? You killed the Batman? Like Sid?" So Sid the Squid is the nickname. And then it's sort of like he's confronted in a bar in a place where they're like, "Well, what if I take out the guy that kills Batman?" And then it kind of goes sideways from there because he ends up, not not having a problem, right? And then, of course, Harvey Bullock and others are into the situation. They start doing some research, and then the Joker is involved. And this is where the story really, really finds its way. It really gets, it finds its legs, right? So Sid the Squid, he's in jail because of the bar conflict and all of that kind of stuff, the way that plays out. And they send in Harley. Now, Harley kind of goes undercover, right? And Harley actually uses her real name in this episode, actually, which we do get for, I think, for the first time. And Joker is at first what it seems like he's delighted, but he also says there's not really solid proof. We don't have a Batman body. So what they're going to do is he's going to commit a crime so Batman will show up. And this turns into just really, really fun because Joker is extremely irritated and sad that it's not working out. Like, sad Joker. Like, oh man, I don't have my nemesis to play with. And look at Harley. Harley's trying to cheer him up, and Harley's being Harley the best she can, right? And it's just not the same. Like, it's just not going to work. He says, without Batman, crime has no punchline. Like, that's just brilliant. Such a great character. This is why the Joker knockoffs don't work. You just can't do it. So they start to have their little fake funeral, and this is the eulogy, and there's the coffin, And Joker has this sort of like long eulogy. Gosh, I'd love to get Joker voice to read this for me. It'd be fun to have my own little version of the Joker eulogy, talking about, the whoopee cushion in the Batmobile and a cyanide pie and the disease hyena filth who's not fit to lick the dirt from my spats. He's so fun. So great. Mark Hamill's just the perfect voice to this character. It goes so well. Anyway, so instead they put Sidney in the box. So Sidney goes in the box. He's headed down. He thinks he's going to die, and then he ends up safe. And you're like, what? Rupert doesn't believe this. Rupert is sort of like not having it. And then he pulls a gun on Sidney, and Batman shows up. So what actually happens, right? We get a little bit of that twist, almost like an OG story. I went and looked it up because I wanted to see. And yeah, the creators were very well aware of trying to find a way to tell the story differently by not having Batman so centric and going with something different. So Paul Dini actually makes reference to the Spirit, who's a famous Will Eisner masked hero. And I think it's very, very great. I also think there's a lot of nods to, like the Ace Chemical plant and things like that. So again, they're very self-aware of their Batman franchise. And they love to make little nods and things like that without being so like on the nose, instead of like making a big scene about it. It's just stuff they do. It just all feels very natural, in other words. But this is where it becomes gold, right? So he's finally being taken away, but now he's actually the big guy on campus. Like everyone is sort of like, I don't want to say fearful of Sid the Squid, but he's like, oh man, that's the guy who almost knocked off Batman, and he's the guy who humiliated Joker, and blah blah blah. And he's just like, they're all sort of like cheering, Sid the Squid, Sid the Squid, Sid the Squid. So this was a lot more fun than I kind of anticipated it being. I actually had a pretty good time, and just tell you guys, this is the GOAT. Batman animated series is the best for a reason, and this is why. Just episode after episode, it's just rocking. It's just incredible. So hopefully you're enjoying. If you haven't given it a watch, check it out. Go over and spend some time with some fun stuff and some really high quality stuff to kind of counterbalance your diet of entertainment. That's what I like to do. So hopefully you're enjoying this with Saturday morning cartoons. We'll roll on. I'll try to make sure I get more content. As you know, I'm in the wake of the hurricane fiasco, so everything's a little off on the scheduling, but we'll be back to normal here soon. So hang with me. Thanks for watching, everybody. I am Pops.
Yeah. Right?